The allegations that blocked hundreds of millions of dollars, he blocked hundreds of millions of dollars in congressionally approved aid to another country, and it's an allegation, unless he agreed to smear a political opponent, is not the conduct of an American president. And note that even though every reputable publication has looked at the charge that has been made against me and found them baseless and untrue and without merit, that's not about to stop him.
Hey, Mr. President, Joe Biden. Congratulations on getting the new prosecutor general. I know there's a lot more that has to be done, but I really think that's good, and I understand you're working with a rod in the coming days on a number of additional laws to secure the IMF. So, but congratulations on installing the new prosecutor general. It's going to be critical for him to work quickly to repair the damage Shokin did. And I'm a man of my word. And that now that the new prosecutor general is in place, we're ready to move forward in signing that new $1 billion loan guarantee. I don't know whether you could either sign it with our ambassador, or if you came here, we could sign it, or if you want, we're inviting Groisman here later. I'm going to be talking to him later this morning, not for that purpose. We're inviting him to Washington, and so I'll leave it up to you as to how you want that done and when you want it done.
Assuming that there is a new government and a new prosecutor general, I am prepared to do a public signing of the commitment for the $1 billion.
Ukraine. This administration, unlike the administration you worked in, decided to provide limited defense articles to Ukraine. Do you think that was a wise decision? And more broadly, do you see any scope for any sort of a deal on eastern Ukraine?
The answer is yes, I think it was a wise decision. And so I got Ukraine. And I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, what, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired.
President Trump is calling it Obamagate. Now, Flynn attorney Sidney Powell is accusing the former president of participating in a plot to frame General Flynn. Obama had an unusual interest in the case against Lieutenant General Flynn.
The fact that there is no precedent that anybody can find for someone who's been charged with perjury. Just getting off scot-free. That's the kind of stuff where you begin to get worried that basic, not just institutional norms, but our basic understanding of rule of law is at risk.
Vice President Biden and really all of President Obama's inner circle individually were requesting the unmasking of a political opponent. Essentially, unmasking someone is the equivalent of illegally wiretapping them. The government had permission to listen to the Russian ambassador, but to protect Americans, we masked their identity. But you got the whole President Obama's inner circle clamoring around, listening to the private conversation, I think illegally, and I think with ill-begotten motives. The document that we got listed all the names and listed the date that they did the unmasking. So Vice President unmasked General Flynn to listen to his conversation, which I think is reprehensible. But so did James Comey, so did James Clapper, so did John Brennan, so did Samantha Powers, and so did President Obama's chief of staff. and a dozen other people. So think about this. It's illegal to listen to people's private conversations. You can listen to, if you have a national security matter, a foreigner. But unless the foreigner's saying, we're going to blow up the Capitol and will you help me, you don't get to listen to the other person's conversation if they're just talking. So this was a cabal. This was a conspiracy. And really, the question is, did President Obama direct it all, or did Vice President Biden? Now, we now know for a fact Vice President Biden was involved.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order. We have to update the global rules of the road.
Durham, Attorney General Barr, investigations now are moving forward full throttle. And by the way, being coordinated with several other U.S. attorneys on this case. And unlike previous Inspector General investigations, this, according to the Attorney General Barr, is not about a new report. No, this is a criminal investigation, and prosecutions hopefully will be in the works, because unlike the Inspector General, they can convene a grand jury, they can indict people, and they can prosecute them. And tonight, many current and former officials, they have reason to be worried. My sources telling me tonight that some of them have now lawyered up with the biggest names and most expensive lawyers in Washington, D.C. Perhaps they know what's coming.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
We have an army of digital soldiers.
The digital warriors of the 21st century.
Our Independence Day is at hand.